Steve loved adventure. He craved the unknown. Exploring was in his blood. No mountain was too high, no jungle too deep. He had heard the whispers, legends of a lost temple, a portal to another world. The end beyond, they called it. Could it be true? A shiver of excitement ran down his spine. He had to find out. Steve packed his backpack. He wouldn't be gone long. He hoped. The jungle was alive. It was a world teeming with life, a vibrant ecosystem where every leaf, every branch, and every shadow seemed to pulse with energy. The dense foliage created a canopy so thick that only slivers of sunlight managed to pierce through, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. The air was filled with the sounds of nature, a symphony of chirps, croaks, and rustles that created an ever-present background hum. Vines reached out like grasping claws, twisting and turning in a chaotic dance. They seemed almost sentient, as if they were trying to ensnare any intruder who dared to venture into their domain. These vines were the lifelines of the jungle, connecting the towering trees and providing pathways for the myriad creatures that called this place home. Strange birds screeched from the canopy above, their calls echoing through the dense foliage. These birds, with their vibrant plumage and piercing eyes, were the sentinels of the jungle. They watched over the forest from their high perches, their cries serving as both a warning and a welcome to those who entered their realm. Steve pressed on, his machete cutting a path through the dense foliage. Each swing of the blade was a testament to his determination and resilience. The jungle resisted his every step, but Steve was undeterred. He had faced many challenges in his life, but none as formidable as this untamed wilderness. Yet he knew that the rewards of his journey would be worth every drop of sweat and every ounce of effort. The air was thick and heavy, laden with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. It clung to Steve's skin, making every breath a laborious task. The humidity was oppressive, wrapping around him like a suffocating blanket. But it was also a reminder of the jungle's vitality, a sign that this place was very much alive. Sweat dripped from his brow, tracing rivulets down his face and neck. Days turned into nights, and nights into days, in an endless cycle. The jungle was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the passage of hours was marked only by the changing light and the shifting shadows. Steve had lost track of how long he had been here, but he knew that he could not stop now. The only sounds were the buzzing of insects and the rustling of unseen creatures. The jungle was never truly silent. It was a living, breathing entity, constantly in motion. Every rustle, every buzz, was a reminder that Steve was not alone. He was surrounded by life, by creatures that had adapted to this harsh environment in ways that he could only begin to understand. But Steve was not afraid. He had prepared for this journey, both mentally and physically. He had studied the jungle, learned its secrets, and honed his skills. He knew that fear was a natural response, but he also knew that it could be controlled. He was determined to push forward, to face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and resolve. He was in his element. The jungle, with all its dangers and mysteries, was where he felt most alive. It was a place where he could test his limits, where he could discover new things about the world and about himself. Every step he took, every obstacle he overcame, was a testament to his strength and his spirit. He knew the jungle held secrets. Hidden paths, ancient ruins, and undiscovered species were all waiting to be found. The jungle was a vast, uncharted territory, a place where the unknown lurked around every corner. Steve was driven by a desire to uncover these secrets, to bring them to light and share them with the world, and he was determined to uncover them. With every step, he felt closer to his goal. The jungle was a formidable adversary, but Steve was relentless. He knew that the journey would be long and arduous, but he also knew that the rewards would be worth it. The untamed wilderness was a place of wonder and danger, and Steve was ready to face it all. Then, he saw it. It was a moment he had been waiting for his entire life. The dense jungle had concealed many secrets, but this one was the most elusive. His heart raced as he realized the significance of his discovery. A crumbling stone structure, half hidden by vines. The lost temple. Excitement surged through him. This was no ordinary ruin. It was the legendary temple spoken of in hushed tones by the elders of his village. The stories had always seemed like myths, but here it was, standing before him in all its ancient glory. He pushed through the last of the foliage. Each step was a struggle, but his determination was unwavering. The jungle seemed to resist his every move, as if it were guarding the secrets of the past. But he was relentless, driven by a thirst for knowledge and adventure. The temple was ancient, its walls covered in intricate carvings. These carvings were not just decorations, they were stories etched in stone, tales of a civilization long forgotten. He traced his fingers over the symbols, feeling a connection to the people who had once thrived here. They spoke of a forgotten people and a power beyond imagination. The carvings depicted scenes of daily life, rituals, and battles. But there was one recurring motif that caught his eye, a symbol of a gateway, a portal to another realm. Could it be true? Could this temple hold the key to a power that transcended time and space? He stepped inside, his heart pounding. The air was thick with the scent of history, a mix of earth and ancient stone. Every step echoed through the silent halls, a reminder of the solitude that had enveloped this place for centuries. The air was cool and still. It was as if time itself had stopped within these walls. The temperature dropped noticeably, a stark contrast to the humid jungle outside. He felt a shiver run down his spine, a mix of awe and anticipation. Dust motes danced in the faint beams of light that pierced the gloom. This was it, the moment of truth. He had come so far, faced so many challenges, and now he was on the brink of uncovering the greatest mystery of all. The light seemed to guide him, illuminating the path to his destiny, the gateway to the end beyond. It shimmered with an otherworldly glow, a portal that promised answers to questions he had never dared to ask. As he stood before it, he felt a sense of purpose, a calling that transcended his own existence. This was not just a discovery, it was a journey into the unknown, a step into a realm where the past and future converged. He took a deep breath and prepared to cross the threshold, ready to embrace whatever lay beyond. But the temple was not unguarded. From the shadows they came. Skeletons, their bones rattling, their empty sockets burning with an eerie light. Steve drew his sword. He had faced danger before. He would not falter now. The skeletons attacked, their bony fingers reaching for him. Steve fought back, his sword flashing in the dim light. He was outnumbered but not outmatched. He would not be denied, not when he was so close. He fought his way to the heart of the temple. The journey had been long and arduous, filled with countless obstacles and dangers. The dense jungle had been relentless, with its thick foliage and hidden threats. Every step was a battle, every breath a struggle. But he pressed on, driven by a purpose greater than himself. The ancient ruins with their crumbling walls and hidden traps tested his resolve. Yet, he remained undeterred, his determination unwavering. There, in the center of a large chamber, stood an altar. The room was vast, its walls adorned with ancient carvings and symbols that seemed to tell a story long forgotten. The air was thick with the weight of history, and the silence was almost deafening. It was as if time itself had stopped in this sacred place, waiting for this very moment. And on that altar rested a glowing fragment. The artifact shimmered with an otherworldly light, casting eerie shadows on the walls. It was mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, drawing him closer with its ethereal glow. This was what he had been searching for, the key to unlocking the mysteries of the temple. He knew what he had to do. The realization hit him like a bolt of lightning. This was his destiny, the culmination of all his efforts and sacrifices. He had been chosen for this task, and he would not falter. With a deep breath, he steeled himself for what was to come. He picked up the fragment. It was surprisingly light, yet it seemed to hum with a power that belied its size. As he held it in his hands, he could feel its energy coursing through him, filling him with a sense of purpose and clarity. This was no ordinary artifact, it was a piece of something far greater. It pulsed with energy, warm and alive in his hands. The sensation was almost overwhelming, a mix of warmth and power that seemed to resonate with his very soul. It was as if the fragment was alive, responding to his touch, acknowledging his presence. He could feel its ancient wisdom, its connection to the past and the future. As he placed the fragment in the indentation on the altar, the air crackled with power. The room seemed to come alive, the ancient symbols glowing with a newfound intensity. The energy was palpable, a tangible force that filled the chamber. It was as if the temple itself was awakening, responding to the presence of the artifact. The ground trembled beneath his feet. The very foundations of the temple seemed to shake as if reacting to the immense power that had been unleashed. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling, and the walls seemed to vibrate with an unseen force. It was both terrifying and exhilarating, a testament to the power of the artifact. A swirling vortex of energy erupted before him. The portal was open, the air was filled with a deafening roar, and the vortex seemed to pulse with a life of its own. It was a gateway to another realm, a bridge between worlds. He could feel its pull, beckoning him to step through and embrace his destiny. This was the moment he had been waiting for, the culmination of his journey. The portal had awakened, and with it, a new adventure awaited. He hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest. Then, taking a deep breath, he stepped into the unknown. The world dissolved around him. When he opened his eyes, he was in a new land. The air shimmered with an otherworldly light. Strange plants, their leaves glowing with bioluminescence, reached towards the sky. Creatures unlike any he had ever seen before flitted through the air, the end beyond. He took a step forward, his senses reeling. Everything was new, alien, and utterly captivating. The air hummed with unseen energy. He could see mountains in the distance, their peaks lost in the clouds. Rivers of molten gold flowed through valleys of shimmering crystal. The end beyond was a land of both wonder and danger, but Steve was not afraid. He was home. He had found what he was looking for, a new world to explore, a new adventure to begin. He took a deep breath, the air sweet and clean. He was ready. The end beyond awaited. And Steve, the adventurer, was eager to meet its challenge. He set off, his eyes shining with excitement. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing for sure. This was only the beginning.